Now we review Lord of the Rings. The Rohirrim are stupid. War of the Rohirrim. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard. This is Random Street Theater, and I have just seen, a little late admittedly, War of the Rohirrim. Yes. Apparently what happened was that Warner Brothers needed to release a movie in order to keep the copyright. So to protect their copyright, they made an animated film. Looks like it's a throwback to maybe the 80s animation-wise. It's a very old-looking animation style, which details the naming of Helm's Deep, which is where the Rohirrim retreat to when they are getting the snot kicked out of them. So what happens is that there's this princess with a rockin' body. You never really get to see it, but man, is it rockin'. I mean, the art on her is not right for a children's cartoon. And, you know, this Rohirrim Lord shows up to the king and is like, let my son marry your daughter because, you know, we want to strengthen the families of Rohan, bring our two families together. And the king's like, nah, I mean, what's happening is you want my throne, and you can't have it. So they get into a boxing match, and calamity ensues. Years later, the son comes back with having united the mountain tribes of Rohan and recruited mercenaries, and he's bringing the pain to the king. Okay, so did I mention that for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I purchase one of these bracelets from 4Ocean, and 4Ocean pulls a pound of trash out of the ocean? I don't remember if I did. Anyway, for every 1,000 subscribers I get, I pull a pound of trash out of the ocean, or I pay to have it done. Anyway, so the animation style in this is very reminiscent of the earlier Hobbit films that I recall as a kid. And I mean, I remember those. There are characters that remind me of characters. I haven't seen that in like 30 years though. So I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but there are some things that remind me of that. And, you know, there are some member berries throughout this story. There's like that monster tentacle thing from the water, and it comes and eats one of the elephant-like things, and, you know, that's a thing. Okay, and there are orcs in this for no clear reason. They're just out there doing some stuff, and it's like, all right. So yeah, I mean, there's mentioning of rings just for the sake of, you know, for the sake of it being a Lord of the Rings thing. We need to say the word ring here and there. Okay, it makes sense. I mean, you know, I guess. But it's just the raw stupidity of the tactics used in this particular film is so bad. It's just, you know, it's like, oh, there's an enemy there. What should we do? Should we stay in our nice fortified walled city and wait for them to come and fight them off when they get here? No, let's grab our horses and charge into the archers like a bunch of morons. And it's like there's this one scene early on where they're out there and, like, you know, some beastie shows up and you're like, okay, you brought your sword, but you're out in the field there. You're a princess and a lord, and you've got like one bodyguard and one other like dude. Like, he's not even an adult. He's like a page or something, but he's not fully grown, so he's not like a knight or something. He's not out there like protecting anything. And none of you brought a bow with you to defend yourselves. What is the point of you guys being out there with swords when one guy with a bow could get within range of you and kill you all? I mean, yeah, okay, it's hard to hit somebody who has a bow at distance, or it's hard to hit someone with a bow at distance. If you see it coming at a great enough distance, you can step out of the way. Arrows are not that dangerous at distance. One of the things about, war is that you've got to put a lot of arrows in the air hoping you hit something. That's a thing. That's just how that works. But really, it's like, okay, you've got this big lumbering target, you could hit it. And if you were out there if somebody had a bow, say somebody's 60 yards from you, and they have a bow, and you have a sword, you can't really do much to them. You come running up on them, they hit you with a bow. All right, so where was I after that interruption? Yes. The bow is something that at least one party member would have for protection. It's a thing. So, this whole concept, the things they do in this, story don't make a lot of sense. It's like there's this one part where, there's this wooden thing that they're using, and they use fire to damage the wooden thing, right? But it's like, so why didn't you put the fire where the guys are on the wooden thing so that they would have to cross the fire to get to you, which would stop them? That's what I don't understand. So, okay, look, this is a movie primarily made for a younger generation, people who wouldn't understand these sorts of things. And it's made out of contractual obligation. It probably wasn't meant to make money. There's some awesome fight scenes, even if the logic is pretty weak. And I guess if everybody made good decisions, you wouldn't have much of a story, would you? So yeah, this is in the middle of your watch list. It's not a wonderful film. It's not a terrible film. It is, for those of you who love The Lord of the Rings, no matter how bad they are, it's obviously a much watch. For someone like me, it's okay. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Anyway, just my opinion. Love to hear yours. Comments below. I'm Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Fred the Facehugger, and I'd like to point out that this world isn't a nice place. But you know who's trying to make it a nice place? The owner of this channel, yes. The owner of this channel does things like pay for ocean cleanup, and have trees planted, and even feed orphans in an orphanage in Mexico. Yes, it's a real thing. I'm not kidding. I may be a face-hugging alien from a horror movie, but I'm not a liar. Anyway, when you comment, like, and subscribe, you're supporting that better world, and whereas it may not make a big difference, it may be the difference between one more tree planted, one more pound of trash out of the ocean, or one child not going hungry tonight. So, think about it. Shouldn't you comment? Shouldn't you like? Shouldn't you subscribe? I certainly would if I were you. I'm Fred.